So, good morning.
Good morning.
We've got a lot that we can talk about and catch up about, but this is the first time that we've ever done coaching together. It's a new dynamic for us,
Mhm.
having known each other for I don't know how many years. Six?
Seven. Seven.
Seven?
Mhm.
A long time, bloody hell.
Yeah. And with COVID, everything feels feels like extra long. It's like
Mhm.
7 normal years, like COVID years. It's like akin to dog years or something. That's
49.
seven,
It's been 49 years.
exactly, exactly.
Okay, well, shall we start by maybe taking a few deep breaths together just to settle into the space?
Beautiful.
Okay, in your own time and in your own way, however feels good. Okay, so tell me, how can I be of service today?
Good question. How can you be of service? I guess it would be really beautiful to, yeah, sketch out some ideas around patterns and repeating patterns. Uh, I suppose themes around choices and, yeah, choices and decisions and making next steps if there is next steps. That would probably be a good place to start.
Okay, so is there one particular decision that is most present for you at the moment, one particular issue that's at the surface?
Um, yeah, so I guess briefly in a nutshell, like to try and not make this too long-winded, but um I suppose for the last couple of years I've had a few different themes that I've had to work with and I suppose process and sift through and figure out, and those themes would be like um I suppose the role of being a man in a relationship and having a family and having kids, and how the masculine kind of figure would provide for kids, provide for family, and kind of be that anchor and essentially be that nurturing, giving, uh, providing force for the family. And so that's something I've been like, yeah, I suppose contemplating in the last while, and then that's been tied up then with the naturally, because of that feeling of how do I provide, it's been tied up then with a sense of like place and where should be quote unquote home, and where is the place gonna be that's gonna allow the family unit to thrive and to kind of realize those goals of stability and abundance and all of that. So for a long time I was kind of, I suppose, like uneasy with those things, and like I suppose cognitively trying to figure them out and whatever. And then thankfully over time I kind of figured out I don't have much to do right now in terms of trying to mentally figure it out, because you can get lost in that loop of cognitively trying to do something when in reality, mulling things over in your mind isn't getting you anywhere, as we all know. But yeah, something else has come up recently where um there's been an opportunity that's arisen to go to a uh, very small, beautiful island in the Caribbean, and without going into the details, a beautiful opportunity, really amazing, really like, yeah, really wonderful in so many regards. But it's bringing a lot of things back to a lot of questions back to the surface because um, myself and Vanessa, my partner, we've had incidences in the last couple of years where we've uh, went somewhere or to something, and that thing hasn't quite turned out what it was kind of supposed to be. Basically other job opportunities, other living opportunities, and they haven't manifested as we anticipated, and it was a big letdown. And blah blah blah. We kind of came to this conclusion, like, okay, in life, then we feel like what we're being shown is that we need to carve our own path, you know, create our own opportunities as opposed to seeking opportunities and things like that. And I think that's been the big lesson for us, and we've really felt into that. And as a result, we've made a lot of inroads doing our own, let's say, professional projects, and they've been going really well and are continuing to do so. So on one hand, it's like, okay, is this life giving us that same would you say stimulus, but same representation of a pattern, and we have to learn this time to say no, despite how, you know, uh, romantic and beautiful and incredible and wonderful it can appear, or then like the idea of discerning, and I suppose in a way like not being too cynical, like we're asking like, but is it also a way? Is it also just a moment in life that has come our way that is actually just incredible, and you could say the universe working in your favor or a gift from God or whatever way you want to say it. But is it just one of those very unique, wonderful, once in a lifetime opportunities that comes along, and our job here now is to seize it and carry on. And again, I hope this is like sounding coherent, but the thing is then with that opportunity, it could quite potentially provide that sense of like stability and home that we're looking for. We Where we live now, we feel very grounded and um, supported and held, and we have this thing where in the heart we feel very at peace where we live here in Fuerteventura, but ultimately in the head, and the head and the heart always have to have a relationship, right? And in the head, we both often think with this island in particular that there's a bit of a glass ceiling, that the the scope of branching out or progressing even in what we do, there's a bit of a glass ceiling to it, just because of the nature of the island, the infrastructure, the tourism that's here, and people that live here, just the overall kind of sense of the place. Um, And so we've also said, well, as much as we adore it here, and we don't really have an intention to leave, we've always said if something came up, or if we found that opportunity to really root, i.e., like buy land in a place where we really felt like, okay, this is where we could have some land and build a home type of thing. If that opportunity arose, that we would definitely go to it. So yeah, basically there's a lot of like at the moment right now I'm doing a lot of questioning, as I said, of choices, decisions, and trying to figure out, like, as I said, which one is it? Is it like life giving you that pattern to say like, hey, you're going to repeat that same pattern, or is it just a fabulous opportunity that corresponds to our goals and our visions? Could the way we would lead life over there is like incredible, like you're basically kind of living off grid in this tropical paradise, eating mangoes off a tree. I mean, who doesn't want to do that as well? And
Mm.
it also, I should just one more thing I should say about the opportunity in Nicaragua, in this island, is that it unlike other opportunities that have arisen in the past, this feels like it's a bit more, we'd be in the driver's seat because it's an opportunity to essentially run a restaurant. So it's kind of a project that would be ours, hypothetically, as opposed to, you know, being under the hold of someone else's vision or project, you know? So yeah, there's definitely a lot that, you know, I'm trying to parse through. And yeah. I could keep, you know me, Sammy, I could keep talking and
Okay, let me see if I've
unloading, but let's go with that and see.
okay, let me see if I've got the main bits here.
Hmm.
So you've got your life partner and you are looking into the future, and you've had these themes going around for a while about home, about family, about buying land, having a place of your own to root, to settle, and to grow into the next step of life.
Hmm.
And you have a decision to make ahead of you now that is about running a restaurant, having your own project in the Caribbean. But there's been stuff in the past where you've had what looked like a great opportunity to join someone else's project and it hasn't worked out. And
Hmm.
so there's a little bit of fear or concern about repeating a pattern that didn't work in the past. Is that about it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In a nutshell, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So the most useful thing we could do in this call would be to work through that decision so that
Hmm.
you feel clearer on what's the best thing for you, for Vanessa, and for your future family.
Hmm.
Okay.
And sorry, if I can just add one more thing, Sammy, like I think as well, mentioned about living here, we feel like it's a bit of a glass ceiling in a way. And I'm also going through like a bit of an internal process at the moment where I'm realizing like, and obviously you know me very well, and the kind of resistance I've always had to, you know, broadcast myself on social media and do all that kind of, let's say, game that we, you know, kind of unfortunately have to do in the modern world. But I've had this thing recently where I'm feeling a real like call to action where I'm like, okay, I need be, because I want to share certain things that I want to share and pursue this kind of path of teaching and everything that I've been pursuing, and I want to continue doing that. That, you know, I have to be a bit more active in that kind of domain, and I've really been thinking, okay, I should really start to, you know, do more things like you're doing on YouTube, or making, you know, recordings of things, and making podcasts, and creating online content to do uh, courses and things like this. So at the same time, I'm also feeling a real sense of like, okay, I need to actually just stop messing around, I suppose, and just like, okay, I'm gonna buy a good laptop, I'm gonna buy a good microphone, and like let's start doing something. And so obviously at the same time as well, I'm wondering again in either one of those two scenarios, where does that work come into it? And is that also just another unnecessary distracted question? You know,
Mhm.
is it just like, no, you just do it now. It doesn't matter if you're here, there, anywhere. Like, basically, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, I don't know if it's relevant. I'm asking you, do you think it's relevant also to that decision of where to be?
Okay.
Hmm.
So there's a drive. Let me see if I've got this. There's a drive in you that you want to be recording your material, taking your work to the next level, broadcasting it out to more people, getting more widely known. And what you're wondering is that something that you can do here, there, or anywhere, or does that play a part in the decision?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So if we were to time travel forward, let's say 2 years,
Hmm.
and let's imagine we're there now. We're 2 years in the future. It's 2028. Are we 26 now? Or 20?
2027 in 2 years.
My time machine's a little wonky. Okay, so we're 2027. And you and I are meeting, and you
Mhm.
say to me, Sam, the last 2 years, everything that was most important to me,
Mhm.
most sacred, the truest of the true, if
Mhm.
the greatest thing that I could possibly have lived and be living has come true.
Mhm.
This is what it is. Tell me, what is it? What have you been doing these last 2 years that is so special and profound?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, I think it would definitely. Yeah, I suppose when you ask me a question, the first thing that's coming up is like, well, I suppose I'm very grateful and lucky that, like, I suppose in the first place or the foundation is that our relationship is very beautiful. So thankfully, I don't feel like I have to go, oh, we are in such a good place. So that's really beautiful. So I think then what it means is that would be something like professional, internal. I think it would. I think I would say, that what I've just said, that kind of creating materials and working with people more, maybe on the online domain and doing courses and doing podcasts. And yeah, I think just that sense of thriving in that arena would probably be what sits very well within my body if I
So
think
tell
about
me it as if it's real. Tell me it as if this is happening. What is it that's happening right now? What are you doing? Tell me specifically, what does it look like?
well, yeah.
I am rather than I would.
So I'm living a life where I have a really beautiful balance of working hours and personal hours. My lifestyle is very relaxed, very calm, very open. As in, there's not a lot of different um, areas that I have to think about in terms of, like, I suppose, I'm living in this very natural environment where I don't have to navigate cities and towns and things like this. So my days are very open, my choices are limited, surrounded by nature, and I have this beautiful work-life balance where my days are occupied giving my attention to work that is ultimately helping people and nourishes people. And I feel like I'm also learning a lot as I go along. So as I'm recording these podcasts, as I'm creating these course materials, I'm also nourishing that curious side of me and that part of me that wants to be, um, yeah, enriched. And it feels beautiful then to be able to satisfy that need whilst also inspiring others, helping others, seeing how much they benefit from my work as well. And yeah, yeah, and as I said, my free time is beautiful. It's in nature, and I've lots of time to spend with my love, and yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is it's about being in nature. It's
Mm-hmm.
about having free time. It's about the work you do, igniting your own curiosity and your passion for learning at the same time as helping and inspiring others.
Mm-hmm.
That things are peaceful, things feel open and easy. So going back to 2025, what was stopping you from having that then?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I suppose in one way I try to always, be patient and kind with myself and, going through life and learning and growing. So I suppose not in a scalding way towards myself back then, but what was inhibiting me doing that was just the lack of, I suppose, urgency and the lack of I don't know. Actually don't know what it is. I couldn't pinpoint what it is that's just preventing 2025 me from just starting to do it. There's just the do it, like press the button, start doing the things. What is it that's stopping 2025 me? Yeah, just the lack of urgency, and yeah, I don't know don't know where that lack of, but I don't know where that lack of urgency would be coming from.
Lack of urgency.
Mm.
Okay. Okay.
And maybe sometimes, I suppose if I really stop to give it thought, I suppose as well, it just feels like a mountain more than a molehill. You know, I suppose I don't pay that much attention to it, but if I do, I think that there's that part of me that's like, well, you know, you know, maybe in some weird way, it's almost like a laziness, you know, which is interesting because I'm not a lazy person. I'm a very proactive person, and I'm very, yeah, like I don't think anyone who knows me would call me a lazy person, but there's something in that creating self creation that I'm either lazy about, lacking urgency with, lacking motivation. Yeah, which is interesting because if this was again, I don't know, okay, let's say I want to record podcasts, I want to create course material. Someone hired me, which they do for yoga teacher trainings, for example, and they say, Robbie, I want you to teach, 1 week or one weekend, and I want you to cover X, Y, and Z. Often people will even give me the manual or the course material, but I put it to one side and I do my own thing. And I
Mm.
spend hours and days, researching and writing and pulling everything together. And I love it, and so I kind of create my own material then. And that's for someone else. And I seem to lack that, as I said, motivation or discipline to do that same thing for myself.
Hmm. Okay. So, what I'm hearing and what I know of you already also that feeds into this is that you are exceptionally motivated and exceptionally hardworking and incredibly passionate and incredibly driven. And you have no problem at all with coming up with your own ideas and pulling them together into a product, a course, a workshop, whatever it might be, and
Mm,
delivering that to the highest possible standard to other people and inspiring them. And, like you said, learning and fueling your own curiosity along the way. You're already doing that.
mm,
So I put it to you that it's not laziness, that, okay, actually, let me not put it to you. Let me ask a question. Could it be that there's something about doing it for yourself that makes it a little bit more vulnerable? Could it be that there's something about doing it for yourself that means allowing yourself to be fully seen by the world, not
mm,
just a teacher for someone else, but you in your full being, presenting yourself essentially
mm,
as the main product, really, and
mm.
everything that comes from that. Could
Yeah.
possibly be that that is a little bit scary.
Yeah, 100%. Excuse me. I think, yeah, because I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's like it's definitely a vulnerability thing, as you said, but I don't know if that vulnerability stems from not wanting to be seen and heard because it's like a deep kind of, I suppose, insecurity or something, or is it just, and again, you know me, I really, I'm not, I don't like attention, like, so I'm a very outgoing person, and I very sociable and very much like if I'm in a room full of people, I'm able to be very present and in the room. I don't like recoil or something, but at the same time, I also really am like adverse to attention and being in the spotlight. I really don't. Just I don't feel like it's my nature, I suppose. And then of course, then when you enter into the online domain, it's just like, whoo, it's you're into the outer world, and so I feel like that's maybe what it is, as opposed to, as I said, like a maybe underlying insecurity or something. But I don't know, maybe that's there too. But I feel like it's the exposure element that really has been turning me off and preventing me from doing this. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like there's a tension or a conflict between, on the one hand, really wanting to step into that domain to publicize all that you have to give to the world and make it bigger, brighter, stronger. And then there's the other side that's going, oh God, no, I don't want to be the one who says, look at me. I don't want to be the one who says, give me your attention. I deserve that attention. Is that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how is it for you now? I'm thinking about when you're teaching. I mean, you've taught a lot of people.
Hmm.
You've taught students and you've taught people who are training to be teachers, which is a
Hmm.
whole other board game.
Hmm.
So, when you're teaching, you have a room of how many people with their eyes on you? Like 5, 10, 20?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, usually between, yeah, 10 and 20, yeah.
And how does that sit with them giving you their absolute attention?
I love it. And I suppose this is another element to it where I really thrive in the personal space with
Mhm.
human interaction. Um, 15 to 20 people online is fine and beautiful, and it served us very well in the last couple of years. Obviously, a lot of things shifting online, but I'm definitely a in-person person. And when I have 15, 20 eyes on me in that setting, uh, I don't mind the attention at all. Actually, I don't have that aversion to it. So it's, I suppose now I'm saying out loud, it's kind of weird, isn't it? I have that aversion to being in the eye of people online, but then in real life I don't have that.
Mhm. So it sounds like you really thrive on being in the company of other people. You can do the online thing,
Yeah,
but what you really thrive on is being in that physical proximity with other human beings. That's your
yeah,
comfortable space.
yeah, definitely. And um it really, I suppose, ties into a lot of what I'm seeing in the world and what I'm also trying to teach through the frame of yoga and somatics and meditation. And it's like, yeah, it feels fitting. It feels like, yeah, fitting. It's like the perfect medium. If you're gonna teach this stuff about getting back in relationship and direct communion with your body and with your felt sense of being in your body, and your body in relationship to the world, then of course it makes sense to impart those messages body to body as opposed to screen to screen, you know.
So I want to ask, when we were talking about the ideal 2 years,
Hmm.
and you were saying that I'm in the public space, I'm doing it, I'm recording all of this stuff, I'm putting it out there. How does that fit with a natural desire to be with people? Is there a correlation there or a connection?
No, I mean, no, directly if there's not, but I suppose the way I envisage it is that, of course, the online stuff allows you to reach more people who therefore would attend in-person events, retreats, workshops, trainings, etc. that I would run. So yeah, so it's really interesting because I think what you're getting to or asking me is, should my attention then perhaps just be on all in-person stuff? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, there's definitely not obviously a direct correlation. I just feel like it's the medium to fulfill the need to, as I said before, to share, to personally grow and help the world grow and people grow. uh, and it's not like my ultimate preferred choice. I mean, I'd rather have like, 20 people in a room every weekend, but realistically, because of many factors, that most likely is not going to happen. Whereas you could have 20 people in a virtual room, let's say, every weekend covering the same material. So I
Okay.
suppose it feels, yeah.
Okay. So is it, I'm thinking about this online work, is the purpose of that more to bring in real life students to fill those spaces for your real life events? Is that the main purpose, a publicity tool for the in-person work? Or is its purpose to have a means of disseminating your teachings on a much bigger scale, to put it
Yeah,
out there in a sort of a this is timeless now, it's there forever kind of way.
yeah, I think the latter because as much as I would prefer in-person stuff, I obviously see the sheer value of the online space. It's obviously incredible, and I myself am always on different platforms and teachers' platforms, and buying online courses or attending live workshops online. There's such an incredible wealth of information out there, and the online space allows you to access it. So, um, I really feel and understand the value of it, and I guess then I want to be part of it, and yeah, ultimately reach more people. But yeah, I wouldn't say I would be sheerly using it just to kind of get people in person. I as much as I prefer the in person stuff, I definitely feel like my intention to be online would be to really make the most of what that medium offers.
Okay, so it's about impacting and reaching more people than you can just physically.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I get that. So one way of doing that is to lock yourself in a room with a camera and a microphone and to perform on your own and to create your material and to share it and record it that way. That's one way that you can do that and build a course and build a podcast and all of that.
mhm,
And what I hear from you is a lot of resistance to doing that. Otherwise, it would have already happened. You're more than capable of having already done that.
yeah, yeah.
So, what I'm wondering is there a way of creating material where you don't have to do it that way? Is there a different way that actually makes you go, oh, that would be fun? I would like to do that. I could play with that and have fun.
You mean the? Do you mean the content, like like I said, the material itself, like the content, or do you mean the medium that it's delivered?
What I mean is, the process of creating all of that online stuff to reach more people,
Hmm.
does it have to be done just you in a room? What I'm wondering is there a way of combining your natural passion for being with people, for doing in-person work?
Hmm.
Is there a way of using that to create your online material? So you're not having to do it on your own anymore.
Yeah, well, I hadn't thought about that. That's really interesting. You mean like to, run something and then record it? Is that what you mean, perhaps? Yeah.
What I mean.
Yeah, that could be really amazing. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, that would that would be a lot easier. Like that feels a lot less yeah, rough internally. That feels a lot smoother. So yeah, I really hadn't thought about that. I'd thought about it in one context for one idea project I had, but yeah, yeah, that would make a lot of sense actually. Yeah, it would definitely be a really good starting point, because I think like with all of with many things in life, it's just about that first kind of step on the ladder and that first little bit of momentum. So I do feel, yeah, I feel like that would be a really good starting point. and it's interesting because as we're talking about it, like, yeah, I have the whatever that aversion is to just starting it and doing it. But at the same time, when I envisage that online content, I do have like images in my mind of like a specific online course that's not just me in a room talking, that it is actually like, has really nice imagery and maybe videos and links that people could click and go to and read the article, or you know what I mean. So that's really interesting too, because I'm adverse to doing it for some reason, but the idea of it is actually quite exciting, and I do have a vision for that. Like, if you're asking me like, well, what does that online content look like, it definitely looks like let's say produced and
Mm.
polished and clean and professional, and because I'm brutal at technology, and like anything I've done online, sometimes if I've done live things, it's like Microsoft 95, power.
Yeah,
So I have the
I
vision.
relate to that.
Yeah, yeah, I have the vision of like, okay, 2025, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. So it'd be really nice to have, again, a nice produced finish. So yeah, that's interesting too. So yeah, I suppose the in-person stuff would be great to start me off, and maybe something I could continue to do. But as I said, now I'm talking out loud and we're going through it. I definitely would like both, actually.
Mm. So, is there anyone who can support you in that? You talk about wanting it to be produced, professional, well polished. It sounds like you want it to be quite dynamic and interactive with different links and different media, an article here, a video here. If that's not your forte and it doesn't light you up to do that stuff, do you
Mm.
know anyone who could help you with that?
I I've one or two friends for sure. I could ask, you know, maybe they'd have some outlets for me because they're very involved in tech and IT. But with that kind of like realm of, I suppose, producing and yeah, design, I could ask Mike.
You could.
But I could, again, it's like that thing of like there really is nothing stopping us nowadays, and there's so many platforms where there's a platform called Upwork, and you can put an advert up there, what you need, what you're looking for, and then freelancers just kind of apply, So I wouldn't be too worried about. I would just need to find the right person, I guess, so I could kind of explain my vision to a little bit. But again, because of this online world, there's definitely so many. It would be pretty accessible to get someone to do it. I would feel. I don't feel like that would be too much of a headache.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if you imagine that you've got someone who you really like and you really trust and connect with who gets your vision, how does that make the task ahead feel?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where the real like sticky point is, because it's like I don't know where to start. So it's like I can have the sketch of the material, and I can have the technology, I suppose, because I need to get a better laptop and stuff. Um, and I could have the person or people that could help me with this stuff. Uh, but then I suppose where I have that mental block is like, and maybe it's just because I'm not technically minded that way, I don't know, but I'm just like, oh, I don't know where I don't know how I'd make it all fit together. Because again, if I go back to like the in-person stuff, like if I'm doing something in person, it's like I basically will put more or less everything down on a document, Word document. And
Mm.
it's like, okay, I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to talk about this, and this, and this, and this. And that's kind of it. But obviously, then with online course content, with imagery and videos and links, and yeah, like, do I talk over it the whole time? Do I,
Mhm.
are we doing like what I do now, or what we're doing now? Little is there a little me at the bottom of corner of the screen talking about what's on the screen? So like those types of details is like where I feel like, I don't know how to figure this out. Well, I do, but I need you.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like what you need from a support person is
Mm,
someone who's got that producer background, who knows how to get it to all work, where you can give them your Word document and they
yeah,
can say, brilliant, okay, if this is the main content, then what I need you to do, almost like a boss, I need you to give me an image that fits here. I need you to give me some footage that fits here. So that kind of producer person who can take your ideas and turn it into a multimedia experience. Is that
that's very
right?
true. Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah, because the content or the material that I have would, I suppose, inform the imagery, video, etc., which would then essentially sketch out the course.
Right. And maybe you don't have to be the one who worries about how to put it all together and what it looks like. Maybe that's the producer's job, and you look at it and go, yeah, that feels good, or oh, I'm not so keen. Can we try it in a different style?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that makes sense because it would just give me something to start to work with. Again, that's what I said before. I think what I just need is that first step and just some momentum and something that's tangible. Because if I have something tangible, then to work, like as you said, they show me something and I can say yes or no, then it's kind of starting to, actually appear in the world. Whereas right now it's in my head and I don't know where to start a little bit.
Totally. It makes perfect sense. Sometimes you have to start not knowing, and then you figure it out by starting.
Hmm.
Okay, so in terms of that first step, you've mentioned a few possibilities. You've mentioned doing the in-person work and having it filmed.
Yeah.
Mentioned reaching out to people you already know, and you've
Hmm.
mentioned looking on that, I think it was workup platform for a kind of producer type
Hmm.
sidekick. What do you think is going to be the most useful first step you could take?
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer to say doing something in person and recording it would undoubtedly be um yeah, that would undoubtedly be the first step. That
Great,
that would be, relatively feasible to organize and yeah,
brilliant. Do
yeah.
you have someone who can film it for you, or can you find them?
I do have a friend here who's got an amazing camera, will happily lend it to me. Um that's not an issue. I just feel like for something like this, I would need to go back to Ireland, um, just because it relates a little bit to what I mentioned at the beginning about this choice of where's home, because home also needs to, of course, um, allow one to thrive professionally too, and there's definitely a limit on this island, I would say, and I just feel like the interest wouldn't even be here if I was to,
Mm,
like I could go and hand out this proposition to lots of people in Ireland, and they would come, free workshop, and it's going to be filmed if that's okay for you. And I had to get a lot of people coming here. Probably you probably wouldn't get the interest. So I
mhm.
have the camera. The camera's here. Feel like I'd have to go to Ireland though, realistically. Um, which I suppose is not a problem. I could, I suppose, borrow and bring the camera back to Ireland, hopefully, and if not, I could figure something out. But yeah, I feel like it would have to be there.
Okay. So if you imagine yourself now in Ireland, in whatever teaching space it is,
Mhm.
running that workshop and having it filmed, how does it feel?
It feels amazing. It's just definitely I can already sense the like trepidation of putting it out there then. So that's definitely something there. So again, I love that environment. Um, but yeah, being in be putting that content then out for the world to see is yeah a bit yeah it's a bit nerve-wracking.
It is.
Mm.
It is. Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
done nerve-wracking things before?
Um, yeah, but I don't know in this capacity have I? I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say like this. No, no. Yeah. Obviously, there's been moments in my life where I've had to do something. Like I can't really recall anything right now, but obviously I've had to do something or be somewhere or maybe talk in front of people or perform or something. I don't know. But yeah, this feels different.
Different. Yeah,
Mm.
I get that. Or this is deeply personal, right? This is your inner passion, your whole, I mean, your work is not just your work, it's your reason for being, it's your whole purpose here, is what I get from you. You're so committed and so passionate. So this is about your soul. This is about your life's work and putting it out there. It's huge. It is
Yeah,
huge. If you
yeah,
One of my favorite coaches, he says, if you're not terrified, you're not playing a big enough game.
yeah. Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because otherwise you're keeping it within the confines of, I suppose, what's safe and comfortable, which is probably not what makes your heart sing. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So then it's about, okay, if you're going to do something terrifying, where can the support come in to give you the courage to do it? Because you're not going to get rid of the terror. The terror is going to, the fear will stay there when you're playing a big game. It'll always be a sign that you're really stepping into something big and powerful.
mhm.
So then where does that support that gives you the courage to do it anyway? How can you build in support for yourself to make it possible?
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually don't know. Like, I have the support of Vanessa, like undoubtedly, and I have I've such my family, my mom, have a very good support network, and those who are close to me are very encouraging. So that way, I'm okay. But yeah, I don't know how I'd build in that support network. Maybe for myself, visualizing it, maybe practice running, maybe do kind of practice run with a camera and stuff, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not sure. Is that what you mean or?
Wow, what you just said there is like the work that you can do yourself. You can do that mental programming where you visualize it, you do the mental rehearsal of it going great and you feeling fantastic.
Yeah.
You can do the trial runs, like that's all
Hmm.
stuff that you can do yourself. But I guess what I'm really wondering is about other people. Can you
Hmm.
bring in other people so that you're not alone? You've got people side by side with you.
To do it with me, you mean? Like the actual recording?
Maybe. I don't know. It's just something that came to me as you've been talking, like you thrive on being with other people.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
it's always easy.
yeah, I
Mm,
hear what you're saying. I do think that yeah, even that idea of doing it in Ireland feels quite supportive.
mm.
Maybe it's been in my homeland and I've obviously lots of connections and ties there and um there's definitely one or two physical spaces as well as people that are very supportive of me as well in that capacity. So all of that combined would probably feel, very engaging and supportive of the energy needed to do this because if I think about doing it here, although this is my home and I love it here, I don't feel like there's a space that is inviting for me to do it. As I said, I don't feel like the people are here to come to it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's interesting. So yeah, for sure, I think Ireland, the land, the familiarity with some. studios there or spaces I could do it from, fellow kind of teachers and things who are very supportive. Uh, you know, students I have there that would come.
Mm,
There's a lot more there. There's a lot more of a network and an infrastructure around me there to do that.
okay. All
Mm,
right. So in Ireland, you've got the physical spaces that feel good. You've got the students who already know and trust you. You've got your family network there, and you've
mm.
got other teachers who you trust and who support you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that feels very clear for sure.
Good. Okay. Does it feel better than sitting in a room and having to figure out how to do it by yourself?
Yes,
Okay,
massive,
good.
massively. Yeah, yeah,
Good.
yeah.
I know so often for me anyway, there's this real thought of how things have to be done. Like you see what everybody else does and you think, okay, then I have to do it this way. And it just feels heavy and horrible, and therefore it never gets done. I
Yeah.
think there's a real power in sticking two fingers up to our perceived conventions and going,
Mhm.
you know what, I'm a creative being. I'm going to make this fun. I'm going to do it in the easiest, lightest, most enjoyable way possible, because then it has the best possible chance of thriving because I'm going to be thriving and I'm going to
Mm.
have that energy.
Yeah, I think that's really important actually. Yeah, just to choose a path that makes it gracious and easeful because actually there is an outlet for everyone depending on their kind of constitution, I guess. Because yeah, for other people, some people the whole online course content creation is easy, or whatever.
Totally.
So yeah, I think it's really good to lean into what makes me feel, of course, comfortable, confident, supported. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I can imagine when I imagine you doing this is that it's going to be different from what other people are doing online. It's going to stand out. It's going to be unique, and that's
Mm-hmm.
powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. So it feels like there's some clarity there around how to start this venture into the online space.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm wondering is if we go back to, well, there are a few things. So you've mentioned at the beginning home and wanting to put down roots, and that you feel like it's not where you are now. As much as you're enjoying it and you've done really well, it sounds like it's served you really well to hear. But as you're preparing to move into the future, you feel like it's got that glass ceiling, that maybe it's what's got you where you need for now isn't what's going to get you where you want to be in the future. So there's this thing of home and putting down roots, starting a family, providing for a family. And you've got this other thing that's kind of come out of left field, it sounds like, with this offer for going to the Caribbean. And with what the work that you've just done, the process you've just been through around thinking through stepping into this passion of yours with continuing your work, furthering your work, broadcasting it more, and how that's going to work
Mm-hmm.
in a way that's fun. What I'm wondering is, how does that then make you feel about those two other things? The putting down roots for a family and providing, and the Caribbean possibility.
Yeah. How does the my own personal work feel in relation to those two things?
Yeah, like if you're doing this work in Ireland, say, and
Mm-hmm.
you are launching this online work in a way that feels safe and supported and fun and light, what does that mean? Let's take the Caribbean first. What does that mean for your decision around the Caribbean? Does it have an impact on that decision? Do the two go together, or does one cancel the other one out? Does it add in some caveats or it would need to be a certain way?
I mean, yeah, a little bit of all of those things, perhaps. I mean, in the sense that I kind of feel like with my work now that I need to be active and what's the word? I just need to do it, regardless of place or time or circumstances in many ways. That's definitely one thing I'm really sitting with and realizing, I guess, the last couple of weeks to months is just like, this is life, of course. There's always different circumstances and different environments and different scenarios that play out. And if you want to do this thing, you need to just do it. You need to carve out the time to do it, carve out the space, make it happen. And that nothing truly is limiting me except for myself, of course, which is, always the case. But, so it's like, so on one hand, it's like, I don't feel like, regardless of where I am, it should be a factor now. I feel like I have to just do that work, make it happen. um, and then on the other hand, there's a few things. Is on one hand, going there, for example, allows me to continue my work. I can do retreats there. I can open up the potentiality to be, as you know, there's tons of that world in Central and South America, retreat centers and courses and centers and associations and whatever. So I feel excited by that. And I'm like, wow, there's a whole other infinite world of possibilities over there. Also, where there's more of interest for what I'm actually doing, as opposed to like the Canary Islands, no one comes here for yoga. People associate it with, beer drinking and, that type of holiday situation. Which it's not in its totality, of course, but it doesn't have that same kind of magnetic pull for people doing that. People, of course, go to Thailand, they go to Bali, they go to Costa Rica, these types of places. So it excites me to, of course, be in an environment where it's much more kind of like conducive to that a little bit. And of course, so then I feel like that will help me, propel me, that I can continue, as I said, to do retreats over there. There's also offers the essentially the flexibility to come back here in the summer period, because similar to where I live now, it's a high season over there is the winter period. So it's basically no one there in the summer. So it would allow me to come back and continue my work in Europe in the summer if I wanted to do that. I'm doing retreats in Ireland and they're going really well, like really, really well.
Mm.
Um, like this, I'm going back in 2 weeks, and the retreat is full. I could have done a second retreat and had it full as well, which is beautiful and amazing. So on that hand too, I'm like, oh well, that door is still open. Like, put it this way, if it was the situation where I felt like I just had to like up and leave everything in Europe and what I've built here a little bit, I wouldn't feel as good.
Okay.
But I feel like there's still, if I want it to be an opportunity to be coming back here, to be working here, to keep those connections, to do retreats here, as well as have exposure to a new place and a new market, so to speak. So I'm very excited by that. On the other hand, I have trepidation and fear, as I mentioned. Is it a pattern repeating itself? Do you, although I wouldn't be giving up essentially totally everything here, there's still a sense of like unraveling the momentum I have here to go to something else. And obviously that causes me a bit of trepidation. But anyway, I think overall, though, as I said, either way, what I'm feeling is that regardless of circumstances, I need to be doing what I'm doing with this, creating some ripples online and putting some stuff out there. And so I'm very uh, aware of that, I suppose, pattern to just, okay, just you got to be active, Robbie. You have to do it. It doesn't matter if you're in Australia or Canada or whatever corner of the world, you know, you need to do it. So I feel good about it that way. Um, and as I said, then in relationship to the choice of should I stay or should I go, it depends because there's pros and cons to both. That I could be very nourished and encouraged and pushed on the path. I'll lose perhaps momentum in other areas, but gain them in other areas. So yeah, it's a tricky one. I don't know.
Okay, so let me see if I've got this. It sounds like if you were to go for the Caribbean island option, it would be like a half-time thing. You'd spend half the year there, and you'd spend half the year in Ireland or in Fuerteventura continuing your work and staying in touch with the client base that you've built up, the network that you've built up there. So you could potentially do both.
Yeah,
Okay.
could potentially do both. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. What I'm wondering is you said that the Caribbean thing is to open and run a restaurant
Mhm.
in an isolated island off the coast of Nicaragua. How does that tie in with you wanting to be involved in the world of yoga, meditation, holistic living in Central America more widely, retreat running, teaching? How do
Mhm.
those two fit together?
Well, I think so. The context is that the restaurant is in a kind of small hotel retreat center. So there's like different cabanas, like 8 cabanas or something, and a restaurant, and then a little yoga shala. And they want to operate more retreats as well, so I can be involved in that. I can run. I can either, well, I can basically teach drop in like regular yoga classes whilst I'm there. I can have, I don't know, 3 classes, 3 mornings of the week, or one class every morning of the week. So I can continue to teach. I can, depending on how I feel when I'm there, or the circumstances, or energy levels, or all of the above, um, I suppose take the bull by the horns a little bit, organize retreats myself, or run them there, or at least kind of help them, you know, operating a retreat, how that would look. So I can be involved in all of those regards. The restaurant, yeah, of course, it would take up a lot of time, energy, but it's also very exciting to have, because another one of those, uh, I suppose, things that we've talked about together is like the need and the want to have our own business. We've toyed with it for forever. Um, and I guess ultimately it just feels like for our personal circumstances and finances, it's difficult in Europe right now. Like when we were in Ireland, we looked, but I mean, Ireland is just crazy expensive. It's the same here on this island. Like it's just when you sit down and you write the figures of like rental and taxes and water costs and electricity, you're just,
Yeah.
it's just like how do they expect any entrepreneurs to crop up anymore? I don't know. Um, so this idea of having our own business that's our own to make or break has always been very appealing. And
Mm.
again, it's another one of these things we're questioning now is like, is this just a beautiful sign? Oh, like here, you can go here and do this or not. But it's very exciting to be in that kind of position to um although running a restaurant is not teaching and it's not doing that necessarily, it's still being in service to people, cooking beautiful, healthy, amazing food, and tying it in with, we do retreats and I do classes and here's my online stuff. And, it's part of a kind of holistic vision,
Mm.
as opposed to being two vastly distinct things. As you know, it's not like going over there to, I don't know, have an internship in a bank, it's
Yeah.
so so yeah, there is the, I suppose, the risk of like, make sure you don't, neglect that aspect, but I do feel like, of course, it all has the potential to be very holistic and again supportive of one another. Um, yeah.
Okay. It's really interesting because when you talk about this possibility, your whole body changes, your face changes, the way you use your voice changes. You're using the word excited a lot.
Hmm.
And when I hear you talking about the online, I hear and see a lot of this and should, gotta do it. Just get on with it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
looks a lot more like you're beating yourself over the back with a stick.
yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's really nice to know. Yeah. 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 Well, I guess it stems ultimately that right back to that crux of the not the problem, but the root of the I don't know, the issue, which is just that I'm a people's person and I feel like I can be dynamic and maybe agency is a good word. Like I feel like I have agency when it's like in person, real life, four walls, other human bodies. That's where I feel like I thrive and come alive and can make a difference. So yeah, I think it goes right back to that, you know.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear that. I really hear that. So
Mm,
this opportunity in Nicaragua can give you that. It can
mm,
give you the shared business with Vanessa. I know that cooking and sharing amazing food is another huge passion of yours. Like you
mm,
say, it ties in with this world of well-being and serving other people. It's a great way of promoting your classes and your retreats and your online work with the people who come through that restaurant.
mm.
So yeah, I really hear that that actually sounds like it feeds into your overall vision, not just yours, but yours as a couple as well, that you have something distinct that is actually affordable to make work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And that you don't have to lose it. Also sounds like what you've got. I'm not hearing much about Fuerteventura that's sounding particularly supportive for the future. It sounds like it was a past golden thing. But what I am hearing is a lot about Ireland being very supportive in many ways, physically, energetically, with your work and your profession, that it can really thrive there.
yeah.
So it sounds like you've got those two centers. And if I'm right, you can do both.
Yeah, and I think that that's how I would see it unfolding. Like when this has all happened in the last kind of 10 days, and when we've been talking about it, it also feels like a very natural, we're also trying not to get too caught up in the visions because there's still many details we need to figure out if it's actually going to happen or be feasible. And until then, it's just an idea and whatever. But still, it is something that's presenting ourselves. And if the details are sketched out in the right way, then yeah, we really need to sit and make a decision like, should we stay? Should we go? But when we've been talking about it, yeah, it's organically felt like, oh, we could be there, and in the summer we could come back and do like 2, 3 retreats in Ireland. Um, and that's just felt very natural. And yeah, with Fuerteventura, it's a very weird, interesting scenario here, Sammy, because we love it so much. Like I said before, the heart thing. Like we're here, and it just feels beautiful to be here. Um, but again, as I expressed, there is a limit to being here, and there is a glass ceiling. And we've thought like, yeah, we could hypothetically be here forever because we love it. And until that thing comes to shift us, if and when it comes, then it'll happen. But if it doesn't present itself, well, we've no reason to leave here. And it's tough because again, we want to, or um, I want to retain the magic of life. And this is an interesting theme as well. Um, I've always been a very like yes to life person, and you know, life is beautiful, life is magical, things happen, you know, things unfold, life is for living, and not like this like unnecessarily wanderlust, like because you know, like it's not, I'm not like, oh, I need to go and see everywhere in the world, but just that like life doesn't follow a clear trajectory,
Mm.
and and that's something I've been trying to bring back into my like being, because the process of, you know, basically growing a bit older, being in a serious committed relationship, contemplating being a father, thinking how I'll provide, um, of course, you can't help but be affected by all of the crazy events, one thing after another in the world the last 5 to 6 years. You know, it's just like in many ways for me, it's like my rose tinted glasses of the world were like shattered a lot over and over. And so I've had to like, I would say, and not again, you know me, not that I was like immature or naive before, but I feel like I've had to do a lot of growing up very quick and become really discerning. And I'm always like, I have been trying to really walk that line finally of like being discerning of the world, but not being cynical, like being discerning of the future, but not being fearful. And all of these things has been a really interesting game. But one of the things I'm trying to bring back in is that sense of magic, possibility, you know, you know what it's like when you, especially if you meet older people who are, you know, 70s or 80s and they've lived this incredible life. You know, I met a guy here one day. He was an Aussie guy. I'll just tell you this very briefly. He was an Aussie guy. He had um the wheels of a skateboard attached to like a kind of shoe he made, and they were like they lit up with lights,
Mhm.
and I can't even explain. He was like kind of like like his feet were like this going down the road, and he was just like crazy character, you know. We got talking to him, and he was like, you know, living in the outback for like 15 years, and then he lived in Byron Bay for like 10 years, and now he's just in Europe, and he has a YouTube channel because he's like a wind kite surf instructor, and he was just great, you know. And like I don't know, me personally, I'm like, yes, like that's what life is for, you know, like different, lots of different chapters, lots of different stories to tell, you know. Not you know, I'm not saying that everyone should do this, but for me personally, it's not the like one place, one time, forever thing. Um, and sorry, I'm kind of digressing a little bit, but the reason why I'm saying that is because that's a big part of I think what I've been trying to infuse in my life a little bit more is like, you know, the magic. And then this thing has come as well, and I'm like, huh, okay, you know. And it's like testing me. I'm like, as I said, is this a pattern, or is this actually just like, no, look, you're asking for it, like, and there it is, you know. And it's messing
Okay.
my mind.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
there's a few things in there where you talk about the magic of life, and that as far as you're concerned, it's not about being in one place forever for a long time, that it's about different chapters and experiencing different things. And that's what you want from your life. You want to be 70 or 80 and go, yeah, I've led a full, crazy, exciting life. That's really important. And again, you're lighting up as you say this. I can feel how important that is.
Hmm.
So when you were talking about home right at the beginning and
Hmm.
wanting to like have that stability for you and Vanessa and your future family, it sounds like your concept of home is not about being tied to one place forever, doing what you're supposed to do, that's the conventional way. It sounds like maybe for you, your feeling of home is that you're stepping into new chapters together, that you're creating magical experiences together, and that you are experiencing all that life has to offer you together and sharing that with your family,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I feel, excuse me. Yeah, I feel so. Again, I'm always trying to be, I suppose, careful that I'm not just chasing something for the thrill, but I'm not really like that, even though I like the magic and I like the opportunities life presents. I'm not really one of these like wanderlust people who just like, I do like a shitty job for 6 months to earn loads of money to then go and travel the world. Like it's not, I'm not really like that either. So um yeah, I guess my point with that is just, yeah, I want to have that magic, write those stories, have those chapters, but also make sure that it is actually at this point in my life and relationship that it is also a, I suppose, a positive step in the right direction too. I don't want to feel like I've taken a backward step doing this, which of course is never something you can sit here and know.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, where the trepidation comes from. Um, so yeah, it has to be a step that feels like it's also it's a chapter and it's beautiful and it's exciting and let's see, but also that it's, you know, positive and a step forward in many ways.
Mm. Yeah, I get that. It sounds like Ireland is your professional development stable place. You can go there anytime. It's your family, it's your peers, it's your student network. You know that you can do the online work there and get that off the ground. But it doesn't sound like that's necessarily affordable to live and stay rooted, or that you even want to stay and be rooted there. So, this other thing that's coming in, what I'm wondering is it sounds like it fits with your professional development. It sounds
Mhm.
like you can carry on doing all the work you want to do. It sounds like it ticks a lot of boxes. I'm wondering, as I'm hearing you talk, if it would maybe add even more value to that experience if it became a carrier, another carrier for your online work,
Mhm.
another carrier for your stepping into the online space more, because then you would potentially have two bases, both of which were feeding into what you said right at the very beginning, which is the thing you most want is to step into that space and reach more people and increase your impact with your own work.
Mhm.
So if you had both of those spaces supporting that,
Mhm.
how would that feel?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, it's something I've, you know, again, just toyed with the idea of it all when I'm thinking it's like, you know, going here could also really allow me to step into that online world a little bit more because, you know, taking the pressure off it, I could maybe just start to, you know, vlog, you know, which again is out of my nature because I'm not like this type of person, you know. But it's also at the stage where, you know, as I've said to Vanessa many times, like, because we both have a lot of resistance to it, but it's like, you know, where's this resistance getting us, you know, in some ways. Whereas, like, okay, it's maybe not the thing we want to do, vlog and have a camera in our face and think about doing that. You know, we I've often said even living here, you know, we live in absolute paradise island, like some of the most turquoise clean waters you'll see and stunning beaches and incredible scenery. But you know, I'm not like on Instagram every day being like, hey, look at my life, you know. So yeah, and you can probably see and know, like it makes you feel uncomfortable, the idea of it. But I have thought like, okay, but this could be a good step to just stop with the mental anguish and just do it and just start to vlog and start to create content that you just put out there with the intention of like this can inspire people to see how a different world is possible, a different lifestyle is possible, and ultimately that's what I always have to remind myself. It's like, look, Robbie, if it brings people to you to then actually touch base with people physically, then that's all that matters. Um, so yeah, I've definitely thought about in that capacity, vlogging, like vlog the whole adventure, but also to be in a place where um recording content is like Vanessa always says to me, you don't need a beautiful place and blah blah blah, but I don't know, if you have a nice Caribbean beach behind you, it does fit nicely to record some online content, there's no doubt, you know. And I also just think that because it's seasonal there's the potentiality that in the low season we can hypothetically live off nothing and have a lot of free time and do a lot of stuff then as well, you know.
Mm.
That's also coming into my awareness because I'm here in workday and I love it, but I shared with you, I'm not working a lot compared to your average Joe, but I'm still pretty much doing a full-time job online to supplement the retreats and everything. And so in a way, I kind of feel like I'm almost back in that cycle of 9 to 5. I'm not quite in the city and I'm not quite doing the 40 to 45 hours, but I'm also in a position where most of my week is occupied by working for someone else in order to pay the bills. So it's kind of that
Yeah.
trap, although in a more exotic location, you know. And I'm very grateful for that work, and it, has allowed us both to thrive and be more financially abundant because we've two sets of income and blah blah blah, as well as our retreats. But yeah, I'm like, I don't want to keep doing this, you know. And here, as I said, the glass ceiling arrives from a few different outcomes, which is like the only work I could do physically here would be most likely hospitality. But
Mm.
we're not talking about like a restaurant on an island in the Caribbean serving like healthy coconut based food. It's like burger bars and, you know,
Yeah.
surfer places. I don't want to do that. And yeah, yeah, there's just the glass ceiling is there a little bit. So that's coming in obviously to this decision making a lot. It's like, okay, we can stay here. We've built up a really good foundation. Our retreats are going amazing here. People are finding out about us. People are coming to the retreats. Um, but the big but is like, what's either side of those retreats? You know,
Hmm.
is there enough personal growth, professional growth? Where do we see ourselves if we stay here? Where do we see ourselves this time next year? And we both have kind of said probably just kind of doing the same thing because we're in the same place now this time this year as we were last year. The only difference is we have more money this year, which is of course great. And it's allowed us to travel. We went to India and everything. So of course that's great. But apart from that, not a lot has changed. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, that's something we're taking into consideration as well.
Yeah, I hear that. You've got your retreats, which are wonderful and which are successful, but the other stuff around it, you use the word trapped, like back in the old trap.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. Hmm. So with all that we've talked about so far,
Hmm.
how are things feeling right now? What's coming up for you?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's really obvious that yeah, I'm a people's person. I like the in-person space. And I really like what has just been so nice is just to, feel into, the path of least resistance, I suppose, you know. Um, so when it comes to creating stuff, just do it in a way that's going to cause you least friction and anxiety. So that's very refreshing. And yeah, I mean, I guess what's coming up is that, yeah, I suppose that excitement of doing something new and exploring that possibility. That's, yeah, yeah. It's just trying to juggle, like, again, always, is it your higher voice of intuition speaking, or is it the voice of excitement, or do you listen to the voice of fear and trepidation? Is that your intuition? It's that really trying to discern those voices is tricky for sure.
Mhm. So how do you discern it? I mean, you're a wise being, you're in touch with your gut. How do you know? How can you feel? What does it feel like? How is it different? How do you tell?
I think just taking time, not making any quick decisions, especially with this. The beauty is of this particular, all of this, whether it's like staying here, going there, creating online material, the beauty with all of it is that none of it is in a way make or break.
Mhm.
As in, we can stay here and we're super happy and we're thriving in many ways and great. And likewise, we can go there and it's, an incredible new exciting project, and what a way to experience life and live this experience, and again, work and try to produce something of value and allow something to grow, and who knows what it could lead into, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's also magical. And I in some ways it's like even the same with the online stuff. I do feel, you said the word should. I do feel like I should do it, and there is a stickiness there. And I do want to do it. I do feel like there's an inner knowing now, like, okay, you do need, like, there is a voice telling me you need to start doing something. Otherwise, again, you're going to be 2, 3, 5 years down the line with that sticky feeling of like, okay, I don't like the online stuff, but I'm not fulfilling that potential to inspire and help. So I do feel like I should do it, and I do feel like I need to do it.
Mhm.
At the same time, I'm also like kind to myself and considering the fact that I'm also doing very well in that area of my life too. That I'm teaching in environments I want to teach in. I'm running retreats which are on my own terms and offering therefore 100% what I want to offer. So I'm also very fulfilled that way too. So on one hand, there's a sense of urgency starting to come in where I'm like, okay, I need to start doing this, but I'm also like, if it doesn't happen in the next month or even 6 months, like it's not the end of the world. But again, trying not to feel too much into that, otherwise it'll be another year
Mhm.
goes down the line. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel lucky that I have a lot of nice cards to play.
Mhm.
But if I'm being honest now, how I feel, I suppose, with this decision, it does seem like, yeah, this would be a good opportunity and move to explore. And although I'm not a person who's very regretful or anything, it's not really a mode that I allow into my reality. I don't believe in regrets. At the same time, I do feel like with this Nicaragua opportunity, it would definitely be a what if, like if we don't, because I mean, again, to paint the picture, it's an island that doesn't have any roads, there's no cars, there's like 700 people live on the island. There's just like food in abundance everywhere and fresh seafood. And I don't know, like again, with the current world, that really suits both of us down to the ground. We're like, okay, for most people, that remoteness is like hell. For us, it's like, oh my God, paradise. Like, and yeah, there's no roads on the island. People are just walking around barefoot, and it's tropical and it's beautiful. I mean, who why would we not want to at least try it, even if it doesn't work? It's something we've said, like, okay, well, let's put ourselves in a scenario, we go there and it doesn't work for whatever reason. Like, how do we process that? How do we feel about it? What do we do with that? And we both kind of just said it would be worth it to say we've tried. No, like, I mean, it's
There you go.
crazy
Worth
exciting.
it to say we've tried it.
And I'm also, you'll really appreciate this, Sammy. I was reading a beautiful book yesterday, as I'm preparing for this retreat in Ireland, and uh, she was talking about the word ramification. We often think of like ramification being like, kind of very aggressive or forceful or in some ways final. But she was talking about in the sense that um, with the lungs, the roots of your is it bronchi? Not your bronchi
I think I know what you mean.
branch out into the lungs, and then they then kind of ramify into the alveoli, the air sacs. But she was just kind of saying that ramification is actually that really its association is like uh, possibility and potentiality. That a ramification is not like an A to a B, but rather an A to like everything else that could possibly branch out of that point in time or whatever. And so, that's kind of my positive outlook and spirit where I'm like, this is just a choice that will lead to many other choices. No, not that it like a because we're obviously very stuck in our binary thinking, like not that it's going to be good or bad,
Right.
but that it will lead to, many, many, many different choices. I mean, we came here to Fuerteventura for a job that didn't work out. We came here and the woman went bankrupt and
Mm.
told
Mm.
on the phone from Bali that she can't pay us. And well, she didn't actually tell us on the phone. She told someone else on the phone to tell us, which was, like really shitty and really awful. But like we always say, it was the best thing ever because we ended up living here. We never would have came here, and we've grown so much here, and it's been just a wonderful whirlwind.
Yeah.
And so I'm also kind of going into it with that approach. If we do decide to go, that it's like there is no really good or bad outcome here.
Yeah.
It's more just like what can this branch into?
Brilliant. You've already considered if it goes wrong, and it
Yeah.
sounds like you've already come out of that going, well, it won't be wrong. It'll
Yeah.
just open up to something else. So it
Yeah.
sounds like that fear is maybe not so present, not so dominant.
It's definitely not dominant, but it's definitely there. And, I suppose all of those things that wouldn't have affected me, 5 or 10 years ago, obviously. But, I guess just being a bit older now and, yeah, having more responsibility and looking forward to the future a little bit. And,
But this is interesting because on the one hand, I hear you saying that like that means you shouldn't go. And yet, when we were just talking about it, it sounds like, for the future, your vision is building your business, entering this online world,
hmm
and that you've got Ireland there anyway. Whatever happens, you've got that. But it
hmm
sounds like this can also feed into that and support that future stable being.
yeah,
Sounds
I,
like
I
you
do, I do, I do feel that. I do feel like in a weird way, it might sound weird to say it out loud, but in a weird way, I do kind of feel like upping sticks in a way is going to create more stability,
Yes.
which is kind of, as I said, a bit weird to say because, our life is here. We've, our house here and a car, and we're also moving from place to place here because everywhere we could find was like 6 month contract. And then we got this place, and now it's like infinite, rolling contract. So all those little things are playing on our mind. It's like we're very set up here now. And yeah, Vanessa's like her kitchen's like full of all her jars and blah 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 and labels and just these little things that make a home, and it's very important to us. And so there's a part of us that doesn't want to do that, but I think we both feel in a way that yeah, even though it would be up in sticks and kind of starting again, it could really provide a stable future, you know, or at least in some ways a future where we're feeling excited about. Not that we're not feeling excited about a future here, but the idea of going there opens up a whole other series of possibilities. Central America, North America, different, of course, climate, environment, being in a world where that, as I mentioned before, that, wellness culture is perhaps a bit more ingrained, so it feels like there's also a lot of potential areas for stability there,
Mm. Okay.
yeah.
Hmm. So if we think back to the beginning of the call and how you were feeling,
hmm
and there was stuff for you around professional development, there was stuff for you around relationship, personal life, moving into the next phase, this decision about place and home.
yeah.
Do you feel like you've got some peace or some clarity around that or some next steps, or is there still stuff that you want to explore there?
I think the only like overriding question, I suppose, and I don't know, maybe it's just me being too analytical, maybe, but I think the only overriding question is just like, mm, like, am I one way or another? Like, I suppose, obviously, Nicaragua being the big one, but even I don't know, just in general, am I potentially like searching too much for the opportunity, or like do I need, again, I guess I'm not formulating what I want to say correctly, but is the time like here and now, regardless of place, or for example with Nicaragua, is it actually just a really good opportunity that like is gonna truly propel me, or does that propelling me need to come from myself here and now, and perhaps I'm like confusing things by even considering other things. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a question. Is like, are you confusing things here, and you just need to go full steam ahead at the moment where you are? Yeah.
Okay, so what if you tune in for a moment to 70, 80-year-old Robbie, or even beyond that to your higher self, whichever feels more present? Absolutely wise, absolutely kind and compassionate, absolutely all knowing. What do they have to say to you on this?
I think probably go like go and yeah, I would say that. And yeah, yeah, I think it's natural that I have these questions because of obviously how my mind works, and I'm a deep thinker. I try to be, very self-aware. Um, but I think, yeah, that older me or higher, wiser me, I've probably said it before. I think, I don't know, it's almost like the question's going back on itself because it's like both and one at the same time, in the sense that what I'm trying to say is it's like you can go and explore and be excited and try and see and be excited and know that a whole new series of potentialities can arise from this, and at the same time also just stay very steadfast and focused on your own stuff as well,
Mm,
and that it doesn't have to be one or the other.
mm,
I think that's, yeah, when I tune in, that definitely feels like the message. Um, and yeah, maybe it's like a could also just be like a shedding some layers. I feel like, yeah, like shedding layers of fear and things like that. I was very fearful before we went back to India, which was very interesting because I'm not, again, you know me, I'm not that type of person, but we went to go to India and I just had a lot of like, and it's not mine, again, it's the residue of like living in a world now where you're bombarded with like, you know, death and genocide and war all the time and COVID and fear and propaganda. So I was like, oh, okay, this fear is not mine, but still, it was like, you know, Robbie 5 to 10 years ago. I was like, India, let's go, yeah, like one-way ticket, let's see what happens. Whereas now I was like, oh, I don't know, should we be going? Like, and yeah. So that residue is there, and I'm like wondering where that's coming from. And as I said, is it like getting older? Is it having more responsibility? Is it like forecasting the future? Is it because of the current state of the world? It's probably all of those things. Um, Even with this is a sense of being distant as well, like being very far away from my mom, although I don't see her like all the time. Obviously she's getting older and that stuff too. So yeah, there's all of that. Like, yeah, I suppose you would say fear is definitely coming in, and I'm very observant. I'm like, oh, this is interesting, but I don't feel like it's also almost worthy to. I, I, I don't feel like it's valid. I feel
Mm.
like it's just fear. I feel like it's just fear, as opposed to like fear signifying something, you know?
Right. Yeah, that these are warning signals that our brain gives us just to keep us a little bit aware, but it doesn't mean it has to dictate your course of action.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, so let me ask you, what is one step that you can take following on from this phone call
Hmm.
to move you in the direction you want to go?
I think that I have to absolutely make a live recording soon. I think that would just feel great. I think that would just demystify a lot of it and give me some moment, at least, if not momentum, at least a bit of achieve sense of achievement. And I think that would help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I do. I think that's more than anything. And despite the stickiness of doing online stuff, that feels like that's what I have to do. Like that's what I have to implement soon. I have to do that soon.
Great. When you say soon, do you have an idea of when?
In the next, I mean, obviously just logistics, probably the next won't be in July the next month, so probably in August, I if well, let's see. I'll try and figure out the details because I'm back in Ireland for July. I'm going to be very busy though, but if I could do it and get a camera sorted and a venue and people, which I'll investigate now, I could maybe do it in July.
Mm-hmm.
But I am very busy when I go back. But anyway, if it doesn't happen in July, then August, because the way our calendar is shaping up, we've a really busy like to go to Nicaragua would be in December.
Mm-hmm.
And before then, we've a really busy few months, like October, November. Well, yeah, September, October, November is really busy.
Mm-hmm.
Really busy, which is great, but it will take up a lot of my time. So August would be ideal in terms of like having a chunk of time where things are much more open, and I could dedicate the time to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know the details, but I feel like yeah, I need to do that soon.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
And you know what you need to do that, who to contact and how to set it up. Sounds like you've got the people and the places in mind. It's just some phone calls or emails. Is that right?
yeah, exactly.
Okay, good.
Hmm.
Do you need any support to do that? Is there anything I can do to help or anyone else around you? Anything that would give you support in making that first step?
No, I don't think so. Again, I think it's just I need the willingness and the agency to just go and do it because it's all kind like now that we've talked it through, it's like yeah, there's so many pieces of the puzzle already there. So as
Hmm.
you said, it's just simply a phone call away, an email away.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
good.
I think I just need to figure out exactly what I would record, but that wouldn't take me too long to kind of yeah, figure that out. Yeah.
Hmm. Brilliant. Is there anything else that you want from this call today? Anything else that we could go through that would be helpful?
No, I don't think so. I feel really light. Not that I felt heavy before, but I feel really light and I feel very positive and optimistic. And I feel like I've definitely got clear on some things, as in where I need to give my attention and what I need to give my attention to and whatnot. So that's really been really, really helpful. No, I think, yeah, I feel really good.
Okay, good.
Mm,
Then shall we maybe finish with a few deep breaths together again, just to
yeah,
settle in?
beautiful. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
thank
Thank you.
you, Abby. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's a pleasure and a joy and an honor. Just lovely to spend time with you.
Yeah, you too. You too. Thank you so much.
Take care. Keep me posted. If you need anything at all, let me know.
Yeah, well, when you said that you need anything, I was like, can you just record the content for me?
I bet you'll find someone who will.
Yeah, no, no, but thank you. I feel very clear, and yeah, it's nice to feel like you've some sort of like almost bullet points in your head. So that's really, really valuable. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Sammy.
And my love to Vanessa.
I will, and send my love
Congratulations
to you.
again. Yes, he sends his love to you too.
Thank you. How are they doing?
Gorgeous, bonkers, wonderful. Yes,
Mm, amazing, amazing. Please bombard me with some pictures.
I will. I absolutely will. All right, darling, you take care of yourself
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
anytime.
All right. Enjoy your day.
And you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.